Tennessee lawmakers began hearing testimony Monday about changes to the state's proposed fetal heartbeat bill. If passed, the new law would completely ban abortions in the state. The original bill prohibited abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected. The amended bill will now ban abortions after a viable pregnancy is presumed to exist or has been confirmed. CBS News reporter Kate Smith has been following this story. She joins me now from Nashville, Tennessee. So, Kate, what happened in court today?
Good evening, Elaine. So today in Nashville, Tennessee lawmakers were considering an amendment to the fetal heartbeat bill that wasn't able to pass the state legislature earlier this session. Now, when I was speaking to politicians, they told me it actually didn't pass because they wanted it to go a little bit further. So before today's testimony, I actually caught up with Senator Roberts, and here's a little bit about what he had to say to me about kind of why this bill is a little different.
What is your place to make a choice for somebody else? And that is where we get stuck because the left position is, who are you, to make that decision for me? And the right position is, but it's alive. But it's alive. And, your best hope is when the answer's in the middle and both come together.
So you can see what, he's going here. He's not going after, a woman's autonomy over her own body or things like that. He's really just considering that potentially you are looking at a life here. And that's really what makes this bill so unique and really what makes it a potential threat to Roe v. Wade later down the road.
Well, what makes this bill different than previous abortion bills?
I mean, that's a great question, right? We have seen so many states passing, very significant bans on abortion. 6 states have passed effective bans on abortion after 6 weeks. Missouri, 8 weeks. Alabama, full ban on abortion. But what makes this bill unique is that they're truly just focused on the Supreme Court. It is a laser focus on what they can do to make a difference, not in Tennessee, but nationally. So what this bill does is it looks at abortion a little different way. Like I mentioned before, you're looking at a 9th Amendment argument here. You're not looking at the 14th Amendment. That's something that's unique that's going on here. Another thing is that there are absolutely no exceptions to this bill. Victims of rape, incest, human trafficking, none of those people would have access to an abortion if this were to pass. And the reason for that, when I was speaking to Senator Roberts, is because they're not necessarily concerned about the women in Tennessee and how this could be implemented. They are concerned about putting together the strongest legal framework that can go after Roe v. Wade in hopes of overturning it or at least chipping away at it substantially.
Well, the original fetal heartbeat bill banned abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. It passed the state's House earlier this year, but stalled in the state's Senate. Are state lawmakers likely to implement the total abortion ban, considering the less restrictive ban stalled?
So they're actually even more likely to pass this one, considering that the fetal heartbeat bill stalled earlier this session, which is so interesting, right? And the idea, again, is that they're looking for that very strong, solid legal argument. And what was brought up a lot today is the idea of arbitrary. And, to make abortion illegal after, 6 weeks or a fetal heartbeat is detected, that is arbitrary. It is not necessarily viability, and that can vary depending on your doctor or your zip code. One senator brought up today that, viability is very different if you live in a rural area, as opposed to a metropolitan area, what, hospitals have the capability of doing. So what they're doing here is they're looking to create just a very solid, easy to understand, if you know that you're pregnant, you can't get an abortion. And, it's as simple as that.
So if the changes are accepted, what next steps need to be taken for the bill to be completely implemented?
So what would happen is that this would go back to the legislature in January 2020 when they reconvene. And everyone that I've spoken to in this in the Senate and on the House side as well, they have no hesitation in their mind that this would be successful. This is what they want. This is one of the most, anti-abortion rights legislators in the country. So, it is kind of peculiar that they weren't among those conservative states that did pass one of those laws earlier this year. But what it looks like is they're going to come back with one of the most restrictive laws that has been passed.
All right, Kate Smith reporting from Tennessee for us. Kate, thank you.
Thank you.